I want to say, first of all, what a huge privilege and treat it is for my wife and for me to be here with you this morning. I've heard so much about you, and all of it good. All of it good, and we're just so thrilled on this auspicious day. It's a wonderful day for the kingdom, it's a wonderful day for the church here, and it's a wonderful day for Tory and Elizabeth and their little family. I want to speak for the few minutes that we have around that passage in John 21, where Jesus looks at the expectant, slightly apprehensive face of one of his closest friends. Simon, he says, Simon, son of John, that was the name that he had used when he had blessed him only a few weeks before. Simon, son of John, do you truly love me more than all of these? I think it is the key question. It's the most important question that we can ever have to face. Do you love me? And the question, as you remember from the story, was around the fire beside the lake. And as you picture the scene, I can't believe it was far from Peter's mind, the fire that he'd been sitting around in the courtyard of the high priest, where he'd found himself cornered by people that we would say were really not hugely threatening people. I don't know the man, he said. I tell you, I don't know him. I don't know him. 3 times. And I can't believe the memory of that awful evening would ever leave Peter. And here he was again, by the fire. He'd wept and wept and wept with remorse and guilt. And that question, a key question in life, when Jesus looks at you and at me. Do you truly love me more than these? And you know, I think it's true that Jesus draws near to us at different stages in our life and different moments, always with great love, as we try to grapple with some of the great questions, the real questions in life, like, can I ever be forgiven? Is there a way back? And we begin to see, sometimes dimly, through our tears, Jesus being nailed to the cross. And as they drive in the nails, on the one hand he takes every sin that's ever been committed, and the other he takes every sin that's ever going to be committed. And as he hung there, he cried out, it's finished. It's finished. As we've been singing about the last few minutes. And died. Died for you, and for me. And the way into God's presence became clear and open. And as we cling to the cross, we hear deep down in our innermost being that whisper, my son, my daughter, you are forgiven. I love you. Go and sin no more. You're free. You're free from the pagan gods that bedevil us at every stage in our lives. The gods that are no gods, actually. Free from the spirits that trap you, enslave you. You're free. Key questions, not just that one of course, but key questions like, is there any point in life? What are we here for? Some years ago, my godly predecessor had 2 very young children, and he had in his house a very sweet Dutch girl who came to help them with the children. and she didn't speak very good English, and the children were fighting. And he heard it from upstairs, and she went down into the room where they were fighting, and she threw open the door, and there was obviously a slight scene of devastation. And she raised her voice at these children and said, "What are you doing on earth?" And the deeply philosophical nature of the question escaped the children. But it doesn't escape us. It's a very real question. What happens after death? Will I ever see my loved ones again? Will I see my parents again? It's questions like these, and many of you will know this, I know, that we look at on Alpha, the Alpha course, which is, of course, a 15-session over 10 weeks. And we look at the very basic questions of life. Who is Jesus? Why did he die? How and why should I read the Bible? How and why should I pray? Does God heal today? Who is the Holy Spirit? What does he do? How can I be filled with the Holy Spirit? Questions that many people in the world today, many people out there who won't be in any church today at all, would love to ask if they got the chance. If they could find a setting in which they were not made to feel guilty and not made to look stupid. Just a chance to ask some questions of some people who might be thought to know the answers. And as some of you will know, the Alpha course has now taken off all over the world. I can speak about it because I really just ran behind Nicky Gamble, who developed it. But it's running in 162 countries, I think now, all over the world, because there's a hunger for Jesus. In the United Kingdom, there are now 8,000 courses, and it's beginning to make a difference. One of the things that I'm most excited about, really, I think, is that it's running now in 85% of the prisons in the United Kingdom. I had a letter the other day from one of the prisoners who was doing Alpha. He was a long-term prisoner. He's been there for a long time, and other things being equal, he will be there for quite a long time to come. But he did the Alpha course, and he wrote at the end of the evening in the back of the Bible. They gave him a Bible, and obviously he couldn't immediately see a huge need for the page that covered the Jerusalem in the Old Testament times. So he wrote what he wanted to write all over that. What he said was this, that the spelling is appalling. Something amazing, he wrote, happened tonight. I came back from the Alpha group and I prayed to you, Lord, about so much. And I prayed around 20 minutes. And for the first time, you felt real to me. And I honestly, in my heart, felt your presence. And you answered my prayer straight away. Because I picked up the Bible and I read a large portion. But as soon as I opened it, it said, "We are not alone." And it made perfect sense. You clearly showed me what to read, because never before have I read the Bible and understood your words. I'm writing this down to remember your first words to me, as I am truly touched in my heart. And as I read it, you need to have a personal relationship with you, Lord. As I said already, the spelling is not good, and it was quite difficult to read. But the theology is perfect. You need to have a personal relationship with you, Lord.